Hi, it's Jeffrey Cohen, Chicago Quantum. It's May 31st. Here to talk to you about stocks that potentially are squeezing, short squeezes. So it was interesting today. We made our video and we titled it, Something's Different in the Market Today. My sense was something felt different. So the question is, what felt different? Well, the normal things that we would see in the market weren't there. They weren't happening. New things were happening. Interesting things. It was hard to tell, right? We'd look at stocks, they'd be volume going crazy, but these aren't very good stocks. And then stocks that just flew higher last week on very high volume came back down. And so this is like in a corner of the market. It's still listed companies for the most part, not over the counter, but a little crazy. So we're going to talk about some of these possible short squeezes. And I'm going to walk through them with you. And there's others that are just dogs, right? But in general, these are just short squeezes. These are stocks that are promoted that are rough, that are not doing so well. So we look at View. View was up 10%, 9.5%, up 11 cents. So we looked at View. Let's see if we'll check my notes here, right? Because that's how I kept track of everything. So View was very interesting. This one was interesting, right? So we're gonna come up. So first thing we do is we look at the options on View, and so let's show you how to do it. You go to Market Watch. You type in View. You scroll down a little bit to Options, because I want you to be able to do this. This isn't for me. You take a look at the $2.50 puts. And so if you look at it expiring June 17, they're asking $1.70. So they figure the stock's worth 80 cents. But you go down to July, and they're asking $2.15 for the 250 put, which means the shares are worth 35 cents. We go to October, 250. Well, this is just crazy. They're asking $4.80. That's just crazy talk. But the last trade was $2.10, so they're asking 40 cents. Someone's willing to pay that it will be worth less than 40 cents. Now we look at January 2023. Last trade's at $2. I mean, they're asking $4.80. So this one, they're saying, all right, maybe it's worth 50 cents. January of 2023. January of 2024, last trade, maybe it's worth 46 cents. So this is not a stock that's worth very much money. We go to shortables.com. We have it set up to Corbis just because that's the default. But let's take a look at View. And we see that the first thing is the short volume. The short volume on the stock Friday was 88%. Thursday, 88%. Wednesday, 66%. Tuesday, 66%. Monday, 72%. This is a heavily shorted stock over the past week. In fact, it looks like over the past 2 weeks. So we scroll down and we see how many shares could we borrow today? It's none. Can't borrow any. Used to be able to borrow 8,000 earlier today, but those got sucked up. So can't borrow any more View. So the stock's going up. Stock's going up with a zero borrow. Okay. So that is short sale possible, short squeeze possible for View. So number one. Number two. Vroom. Love this stock. I already commented on this stock to somebody else that it was trouble. So Vroom went up today. It's $1.43. I don't know if it was up or not, but yeah, it was up a couple cents. We take a look at Vroom. Did it have any options? By the way, Vroom is a huge bankruptcy risk stock. That's why it's an issue. It is trading $1.50 options Actually, not that expensive, so people are not expecting by June 17 for it to go bankrupt. But 80 cents on a $1.50 option on the puts for $1.42. So they're betting that it goes down half. People are paying for that. Let's take a look. Vroom was not heavily shorted late last week. It was about even. But 90,000 shares available. So this is a short, not a lot of shorts available. There is a bankruptcy risk. So on that one, maybe it does pop before a crash. That's interesting. Saba, up $10 on 5 times volume. BBIG, it's down to 233 on a lot of volume, but it's actually below average volume. So let's take a look. BBIG, Vinny's Ventures. You can see it popped up, $12, popped up to 9, popped up to like 5.5, popped up to 3.5, and now it's trading down. And so the stock really isn't going anywhere. But we see Mullen, MULN. This is definitely a short squeeze. Mullen, MULN. By the way, we read the 10Q. It is a very interesting read. By the way, this stock, heavy acquisition, heavy loading of the stock in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Wow. Heavy loading. No shares available. Okay? 1,000 on a $2 stock. No, on a $1 stock. So it's $1,000 as a short. If you look at MULN, I believe there's no options, and it traded up $1.41. It's up 45% today on 300 million shares. So this is a very interesting. Just leave it at that. 10Q. You should read it. Mullen's not a very happy, very healthy stock, and so what I would say is, that is also a short squeeze that is going on. There's not really an explanation for why Mullen has gone up. SIGA, SIGA. Now this one's interesting. This is a story stock. This is a monkeypox stock. And so we noticed it when it started to pop that first day. So if you take a look at this stock, right? You see it's a $5, $10 stock, $7 stock. You know, it used to be a little higher, but it used to be a little lower too, right? And then all of a sudden recently, it popped. Popped all the way to 14. Today it worked really hard. It went up a lot, but it came down to 11. And so this is one of those tons of volume, tons of action, and it's definitely a meme stock. I don't know that it's a short squeeze, but it's definitely in play. So Friday short, it was net short. It's got plenty of shares to short. So not a short squeeze, but SIG is definitely in play being meme. Now you look at AMC. AMC is a stock that we follow, right? So this had some buying in the last 4 trading days through Friday, which is interesting. It's got plenty of shares available to short. It didn't used to. It was down to 100,000 shares. Now it's down to it's up to 1.3 million shares. So AMC is not a short stock. I think in part because they had some good news in the movie theaters. People like the movies that are coming out. I know we did. But this stock pre-market was crazy. Pre-market, this thing was up, up, up. First thing to say, you can't see it here. Where do you see pre-market reporting on AMC? So it went up like 10% and then it came down. And so I want to focus on that because I think it's important. Yeah, here we go. Here's the pre-market. So if you followed AMC pre-market, you see it popped up to 16, and then it got ridden all the way down to 14, then up to 1550, and then down to 14-ish again. So this stock went up and down twice. People who were active pre-market, who got up early, who used some of those trading sites. See, we don't have access to pre-market like that. Or if we do, it tends to be expensive to get execution. So AMC was very active pre-market. I'd say it was in play pre-market. And the feeling that I had was these are people who got up early to make their money for the day on AMC. Whether they were buying or selling, I almost can't tell, right? It's just AMC was very active. And let's see, there were some other stocks that I saw. Oh yeah, BKSY. Black Sky Technologies. Now, we also read the 10Q on this one. This one loses money. They actually grew revenue. They put satellites up and they sell the images off the satellites, and they also sell software. But their SG&A quadrupled while their revenue doubled, and so they continue to lose more and more money. And in fact, it's a pretty risky situation for BKSY. Definitely in play. So I write down that this is a bankruptcy risk stock. It's losing money. It's too much SG&A. They spent a lot of their cash last year in order to cover their costs. They have $166 million in shareholder equity, but most of this is property and satellite procurement and process, which you can't really leverage at all. Market cap was around $420 million when we looked at it, right? Can I short it? So it traded 50 million shares today versus 5 million shares normally, but it was a SPAC. It was a SPAC that traded at $10 and it fell all the way down to about $1.20 and is trying to make its way back. And so you can borrow 20,000 shares of the stock at a fee of 14%. So 20,000 shares is like off of a 50 million share traded stock means you can't short it. BKSY. Definitely nothing to be able to... Oh, so people bought it the last 3 days too. So they loaded the truck. You take a look, can't short it. 4 o'clock, 0 shares. 50 million shares traded today. So BKSY, Black Sky Technology, really troubled company, but being pumped up. So I hope you're getting a sense, right? Which is these are companies that aren't your best fundamental companies. This isn't like Berkshire Hathaway or McDonald's. You're looking at companies that lose money, that are in trouble, right? Stocks dropped quite a bit maybe on fundamental reasons. And then all of a sudden, people want to create a little bounce. So let's find another one. INDO. INDO. In my opinion, it's worth $1. Maybe $1.50. I'd probably pay $1 for it. It's just not worth very much, right? It's also a short squeeze. You can short about 7,000 shares. You can borrow 7,000 shares. Let's look at INDO. Indonesia Energy Corporation. So what do? They own 2 blocks of energy drilling like licenses, right? They have blocks of land and mineral rights. And so one of them produces, one of them is exploration only. The one that produces doesn't produce very much. It's like 6,000 barrels. It's not worth that much. And so, and only one of the 7 wells really does much, right? So I looked at it. It's not worth very much money, right? It's maybe worth $1. So can I short it? INDO? No. 7,000 shares. And I believe on this one, there's no options either. So you can't play the options. So your only choice on INDO is either buying it, selling it, or watching it. And so it's up 4% after hours. Crazy. So INDO is another one of those short squeezes. So it's so interesting that the stocks that I noticed today. Oh, Mullen. Did we talk? Yeah, we talked about Mullen. Did I talk about Mullen? I don't remember. Let's talk about Mullen. After hours traded 1.3 million shares. That's crazy. So Mullen has 332,000 shares, or 332 million shares. They didn't used to. They raised $65 million in cash last quarter. Now, how did they do that? Well, they issued shares for services and salary of $27 million. Okay. Over the last quarter, did the stock even trade at it hit $3, but generally it also hit $1 or 78 cents. So it depends where they sold. They issued another $12 million of notes payable, $40 million of common stock was sold, and $64 million of preferred C shares were sold. But then they paid back $15 million in debt. So they raised a lot of money. This is a developmental stage electric vehicle spinoff. They don't make money. It's tough. I read the 10Q. I was kind of shocked. So what I would say is on this one, it's another short squeeze. And so here's why I bring this to you. I don't know whether you should play this game or not. Right? Personally, for us, I'm not that nimble. Right? I can't jump in and out of stocks like this. I can't really act on it. One more. BRDS. BRDS is not a short squeeze. BRDS is just a company that might be declining rapidly after already declining rapidly. So it was acquired on Friday. It was built. People built a little position on Friday. BRDS. It's got 90,000 shares that can be shorted. It's under $1. Let's take a look at the volume of BRDS. I had 2.9 million shares yesterday. It was down not very much. It's not really moving. But what's interesting about Bird Global is that this was a this was a SPAC. It was $10. And it's just fallen. Now they do an environmentally conscious thing, a very nice mission, right? The bicycles or the mopeds that are energy efficient. But in fact, they don't make money. I'm not sure how they're ever going to make money. And so the stock is down. And so this is another one just to watch for because it kind of hit our radar screen. It's down. It's environmentally sensitive, but I don't see much in this one. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We talked about a bunch of stocks, and we'll post this video out, and we'll let people do what they do tomorrow morning. You take care now. Oh, if you like the video, we don't get paid to make them. We did not trade any of these shares today or have a position in any of these stocks. This is just research and development for you to watch and to learn from because we see this in the market and it's interesting to us. So hit the subscribe button, please. Really helps us, helps spread the word, helps make YouTube really like our videos and also bring them to other people, expand the reach. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you disagree, leave a comment below. Ask questions. Hey, what do you see in the 10Q? What's going on? Why do you think there's a bankruptcy risk? Or let's talk about those assets and liabilities or earnings or how they raise money. And we'd love to have that conversation. We can have it right there in YouTube. And that way, people see. People can join the discussion. All right. Take care. Thanks so much. Jeff Cohen, Chicago Quantum. Bye-bye now.